Psychosocial well-being is about the psychological state of an individual, linking to the social connections and support around them. The psychological state of an individual is about the mind, thoughts, feelings, behavior, knowledge, and skills. Social connections and support is about relationships, interaction with the environment, and the quality of social support accessed by the child. A person's psychosocial well-being is also linked to how other people's attitudes and behaviors affect him or her, a sense of belonging in the community, access to basic services such as education, protection, and health. The balance between risk and protective factors influences a person's development and sense of well-being. So does conflict, disaster, exposure to violence, and other hardships, which can lead to psychosocial distress among children and their families. Most people will be able to recover from a crisis through access to basic services, security, and community support. Such support may help to prevent long-term psychological problems among children who have experienced distressing or traumatic incidents. How do we apply an MHPSS approach to humanitarian assistance to promote the psychosocial well-being of children, adolescents, youth, and their families? Here are some examples of how this can be done. In an emergency camp, women's and children's tents were placed closer to the bathrooms. This means that they had shorter distances to walk at night, which improved both their safety and their sense of being safe. Safety and security is fundamental to people's psychosocial well-being. Hygiene kits were distributed in a way that respected the needs of families with very young children. Shade and drinking water was provided, and staff were trained in communicating with children. A respectful and child-friendly attitude has positive impacts on families and children's psychosocial well-being. Community workers in a village arranged focus group discussions with children and young people as part of the evaluation of the healthcare services. The evaluators had been trained in how to communicate with children. They were determined to ensure that both boys' and girls' voices were heard and respected. Children's psychosocial well-being is strengthened through being able to freely express their views, being genuinely listened to, and being perceived as a resource to the community. Child protection workers visited the school on a regular basis to collaborate with caregivers and teachers on how to promote non-violent ways of raising children, positive discipline. Having access to safe, protective, and inclusive learning environments enhances the psychosocial well-being of children. The examples above show how humanitarian assistance was respectful of human rights and equity, participatory, doing no harm, building on available resources and capacities, integrated into other support systems, multi-layered, needs-based, based on the best interest of the child, adapted to the age and stage of development of the child, safe, dignifying and inclusive, gender-sensitive. We will go through these principles later on in this module. Providing humanitarian assistance in ways that promote the mental health and psychosocial well-being of children, adolescents, youth, and their families is a consideration for all humanitarian workers across all sectors.